What's going on, everybody? C4 here today, bringing you the debut episode of the Pink Slips Connected Franchise Mode. Coming from a brainchild of your boy C4, here's how we're going to implement it. The premise is simple. We're going to start with a team built of players that are 75 overall or less, and to try and build and improve this team, kind of like a rebuild, but rather than just purely using the draft, we're going to be doing a pink slip premise. For those of you who don't want to know what pink slips means, here's the simple form for you. You win a game, you take a player. You lose a game, you lose a player. That's it. That is pretty goddamn simple, to be completely honest with you. Essentially, who we take will be voted on by you guys in the comment section below. I may occasionally put a poll up on Twitter, but that is where we get the user interaction. So these episodes really do depend on the interaction from you guys. If the interaction is not there, I unfortunately may not be able to continue doing it because it doesn't work that way. Our main team will be immune to losing players until we have a base overall of an 80. Now this is a loose starting score, and I'm going to look for feedback based off of that. 75 is about as low as I'd want to go, but then, 75, that can make things interesting sooner if me losing players really is that influential on the entertainment. Now, the quality of player that we will get is based off of performance. That earns a star grade, very similar to how high school prospects are ranked. Blue chip 5-star all the way down to the 1-star guy that probably has to, pay his own way. So essentially, how we're going to do it is all the way up to 5 stars. If we get a 5-star performance, we can get a player from the opposing team that has 10-point overall bonus. So we have a quarterback, for example, that is a 70 overall. We win the game with a 5-star performance. We can go get a quarterback that's up to an 80 overall on the team that we defeated. So on and so forth, as you can see in the little graphic here, which will be posted at the beginning of every video. Won't have the long spiel because this is an introduction, but for reference, it will always be there and probably in the description of the video. So how do we gain these stars? Here's what I have come up with, and I'm open up for discussion in terms of, should I just make it simpler and remove some of these options, or do you guys like how in-depth it is for different ways for us to earn stars? So as it stands right now, if we win the game, we get 2 stars. If we win the game and it's against a divisional opponent, add another star to that for 3 total against the divisional opponent. We are the Jets, so that would be the Bills, Dolphins, and Patriots. If we win by 14 points plus, we get a star. If we win by 21 points plus, we get 2 stars. If we finish the game with a shutout, 0 points allowed, that's 2 stars. And then we have individual statistics. If we have a quarterback throws for over 300 passing yards or a running back rushes for 100, or a wide receiver goes for 100, we get half a star each. So if our quarterback throws for 300 and one of our wide receivers goes for 100 of those yards, we get 1 star total. Half star for the 300, half star for the 100 yards receiving. If we get 2 rushing touchdowns / 2 receiving touchdowns to go along with 3 passing touchdowns, very similar again, half star each. So if we have a quarterback that throws for 3 passing touchdowns and one of our wide receivers catches 2 of those, that'd be 1 star total. If a player on the defensive side of the ball gets 2+ sacks or 1 interception, that is half a star. And if we win the turnover battle, which means, essentially if we have less interceptions, it makes sense, the turnover battle, we get 1 full star. So all in all, it should be fairly easy if we win the game to get at least 3 stars, which is going to keep things interesting. But because, we might not always win games because our team is kind of shit, at least with the performance indicators, we still will be able to get 1 player per episode. So without further ado, let's jump right into things with the debut episode. Alright, and just before we jump into things, just to show that I'm not joshing everyone, because as soon as you jump into the connected franchise mode, players overall do get influenced by your scheme. The base highest overall is 75, which the rules permit. We only have, I think, 8 guys here that are at 75. I could have made the whole team 75 if I wanted to, but where is the challenge in that? I already put enough challenge on myself to try to do a team that's 70 overall or less, and that was just rage-inducing. So I think bumping up to 75 is a good zone. So Garrett Reynolds, John Ross, Sidney Jones, Robbie Anderson, Rashard Robinson, Noah Spence, and Calvin Pryor are the 75 overall players that we have decided to start out with here with the New York Jets. Alright, here we are going into the final preseason game. I figured let's not make the preseason anything about pink slips. We will worry about opening weekend, which I think is against the Bengals. But wait, we're 1-2. And I've done 3 trials of this. This is the 4th attempt of me trying to tweak things. We've never won a preseason game, so maybe the 75 overalls have certainly helped us out a little bit, as we are sitting at 1-2. So today, we will, well, since it's a debut episode, we'll break down their base team that we are using for pink slips, as well as making a big-time move. So quickly trying to look at the depth chart here. Let's just go from the roster standpoint. At the quarterback spot, we're going with Tom Savage. Time to put my money where my mouth is. I have said countless times that if I was the Texans, even before they traded, or not traded, but they paid outrageous money to lure Brock Osweiler away from the Denver Broncos, I would have went with Tom Savage. I'm not saying Tom Savage this year. I mean, you have the Deshaun Watson there with the Texans. I'm not going to say Tom Savage is going to light the world up, but I certainly think he deserves, much like Mike Glennon, an opportunity to be a starting quarterback. So why not put my money where my mouth is and have him be our starter? We have E.J. Manuel, who we've used before in some connected franchise mode live streams, and he's been very well for us. And we have Brett Hundley here, who I think is another quarterback that's buried, obviously, behind Aaron Rodgers. That could be a serviceable player in the NFL. Running back spot, we're going with Carlos Williams Sr., picked him off the free agency wire. We have Darius Jackson, who's a very good, basically, speed with decent carrying, and he can truck guys over with 84 trucking. Kind of reminds me of Darren McFadden a little bit. And then we have Dree Archer, because why not? Dree Archer is always mad and cheese, so we figure why not include him. He's only 57 overall. Jumping to the fullback, we have Klutz Series of 75, just the best impact blocking fullback for the C4 Special. At the wide receiver spot, we have Robbie Anderson, 75 overall. Decided to keep him on the Jets. Didn't want to relocate him. I was a big fan of him out of Temple. We have John Ross, who we have used, I think, in 2 live streams, and he's incredibly overpowered. I didn't want this roster to be filled with guys that were from my custom roster too much, so I think there's only 5 or 6 of those rookies, but I had to have John Ross. And much like John Ross, we'll talk about another guy a little bit later. We have Jalen Strong, who's always been fairly underrated at the wide receiver spot, at least in terms of Madden. I know he's kind of struggled to catch on in Houston. We got Zay Jones, another rookie that I want to use. We've used him in live streams in the past. He's been very good. We have Ryan Switzer and Daniel Braverman, who will battle it out for our starting slot wide receiver. The tight end spot, we have Max Williams, who was a very talented tight end coming to the University of Minnesota, kind of buried right now on the Baltimore Ravens depth chart, and he struggled with some injury, but he is a very good player. Then we have Austin Severian-Jenkins, who, with the DUI has kind of been a bust in the NFL, but really in my time, I say this in quotation, scouting, he was one of the most talented college football tight ends I've ever seen. So I figured, why not include him? And then we have, for Eagles fans, Ifeanyi Moma, the goddamn offseason all-star for the Philadelphia Eagles for multiple seasons. 6'7", converted wide receiver. Offensive line, we have Charles Leno from the Chicago Bears. We have at left guard here, Amini Silutolu from the Carolina Panthers. At center, we have B.J. Finney, who with the scheme fit has now bumped up to a 76 overall. As I stated at the very beginning, I wanted to make sure clear. Everyone was 75 before I started. He's down to a 76. At the right guard spot, Garrett Reynolds had the biggest jump at everyone, going from a 75 all the way up to an 81, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how, just because of a scheme, someone could jump up that many points, but I'm still playing within the rules. And at the right tackle spot, we have Ode Obushi, who's the backup right tackle on the Seattle Seahawks. Jumping to the defensive side of the ball, left defensive end, we have Noah Spence, who's now got that 1-point buffer to a 76 overall. I've used him in a couple sims, and he's been very good. At the right defensive end spot, we have Robert Kimdichie from the Arizona Cardinals. Kind of struggled in his rookie season, but I really do like his intangibles and his stats here in Madden. Very much caters to my playstyle, even though we are going to be running a 4-3, and he's not a 4-3 defensive end. And we also had Deion Jordan, Oregon Duck bias. D-tackle, we have Cedric Thornton, who again, I think he was a 73 overall. Goes all the way up to a 76. Former Philadelphia Eagle, was very underrated while he was here in Philly. And we have Andrew Billings, who during the draft process a year ago was one of my favorite defensive tackles. At the left side linebacker spot, because inspired from the North Dakota State Dynasty, which if you haven't checked that out, go do so right now. I'm busting my ass in that series. We have Kyle Emanuel, who went from a 73 to a 76. I don't know where these guys are getting these plus minuses. It's crazy, but I'll take them. At middle linebacker, we have Mark Barron, 74, and Scooby Wright, 70. We're going for the coverage ability here of Mark Barron. Right outside linebacker, we have Kevin Pierre-Louis, who is a depth player on the Seattle Seahawks, to go along with converted safety to outside linebacker Jeremy Cash. Secondary, we have Rashard Robinson, who had a very good rookie season for the San Francisco 49ers. We have Sidney Jones, just because I'm an Eagles fan, and I want to play with Sidney Jones. I've used Derek Barnett, have not had the biggest opportunity yet to play with Sidney Jones. This is going to be the biggest one yet. We have William Jackson III, the rookie defensive back. Well, not really rookie. He's now going into his second season. Struggled with injury, but I was a big fan of him coming out of the draft out of Houston, so we threw him on there. And we have Sander Cummings, Darryl Roberts, and Brandon Dixon as the depth. At the free safety spot, we have Walt Aikens and Marcus May. We're probably going to go with Marcus May just because of Florida Gator bias. And at strong safety, we just tried to keep Calvin Pryor, who went from a 75 all the way up to a 76, who I think now the Jets traded him to the Browns, I think is where he's ended up. And then we have Jalen Watkins here from the Philadelphia Eagles, another Florida Gator with very, very good coverage ability. Not so much in the tackling. Kicker will be Dan Carpenter because he has the kick power. And I mean, we all need that kick power for the best field goal kicker on YouTube. And punter is going to be the Aussie Tom Hackett from the University of Utah. So there you go, guys. That is our roster as it stands right now. And what we're going to be doing here with the Jets. You might be asking yourself, why? Why the Jets? Why are the Jets the team that you've decided to use? Well, the reason why I've done that is because we're relocating these motherfuckers. The Jets have the worst roster, and we're going to be moving them somewhere. I don't know where it is going to be yet. I don't know if I want to take your user input. I'm thinking maybe just keep them within New York and just move them to Brooklyn because they have that purple jersey. As you can see, our owner is Riff Raff, a.k.a. Neon Icon, a.k.a. Mr. Lamborghini Leglock, a.k.a. Rap Game Judi Dench. We may be doing that, but I guess you can shoot your input for where you want to go. We obviously have the Toronto Huskies. Maybe we could go somewhere else. I'm not doing like Ireland or any of that other bullshit. So let's relocate them right now. And without further ado, we're going to go to the regular season and get ready for that opening matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. So in our first matchup of Pink Slips, we are going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. And before we jump into this game, let's see what type of players are on the Bengals could be up for grabs. We have, obviously we have an 81, so we go up to a 91 at the right guard spot if we want to ball out. Or for the most part, our players are between, there's two approaches to the way. So we could try to approach it by trying to upgrade one of these 75s to an 85, which could be an option, or more so looking at some of our lower depth guys and improving the roster from that standpoint. So looking at the Bengals, they're a decent roster. I mean, AJ Green's out of, see, we're not going to go after a quarterback. We can't do that. That's just out of reach. We could potentially get Jeremy Hill, Giovanni Bernardi, maybe even try to add Joe Mixon at the running back spot. Wide receivers, Brandon LaFell could be an option. Tight end, we're just outside of that. I think a key one for me personally is I would not be against adding either a center or the right guard. Bowling and Russell Bodine, because improving the offensive line will go a long way with our roster. I mean, outside of that, the Bengals have one of the worst starting offensive lines in football. Defensive side of things, unfortunately, Dunlap's just out of our range. Maybe Michael Johnson could be decent. Pat Sims, Vincent Ray, Kevin Minter. I mean, a lot of the big names are going to be out of reach. We could even look at improving the corner, maybe a Dre Kirkpatrick or a Josh Shaw. Georgia Loca, 75. We're just outside of that. So I'm going to say the big players that I'm looking, if we can win this game, would be Clint Bowling and Russell Bodine. But then at the end of the day, it is completely up to you guys. So let's jump right into this game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, let's go Robbie Anderson. There we go. That 93 speed. Oh, baby, let's go. I'm taking full advantage because I know it's not always going to be this easy. The Bengals are probably one of the easier opponents, I would say, on our schedule as it stands right now. And look at that. Tom Savage, the beast. He's a savage. He's an absolute savage. Look at that. Great anticipation. Still, knowing that Georgia Loca is not that fast, he's a long-rangey zone-type player, I knew that foot race was a mismatch all day long. And Robbie Anderson takes that shit to the house. Let's fucking go. Oh, Carlos Williams. I thought I had a little bit better trucking than that, but there we go. First rush of the game goes for 13 yards. I'm giving that one up to my boy Tyler Clutch, who set the edge. Look at this shit. Fullback right there. Blows up Michael Johnson, I think that is. Take that. Good run. Oh, let's go, Tom Savage. Ooh, that boy Tom Savage can run. Let's get it. He drove it like he stole it. Oh, what a punt! What a punt. Not only the best field goal kicker on YouTube, might as well check in punter. Special teams unit, baby. Big ol'. Mark Barron, baby. Too easy. Too easy. You can't have a middle linebacker with almost 90 speed, leave him unmarked. Come on, son. Oh, no, Spence is a beast. I knew that was one guy I had to do. Once I tweaked this up to 75 overall, Noah Spence was my go-to guy. He's an absolute beast off that edge for the Bucs. And look at that, just throwing down Andy Dalton. Child's play. Oh. And night-night. Ain't a fucking do-si-do. Let's go. All right, here at 3rd and 8 in the red zone. Just creeped in. Now we got to start kind of playing for the stars. Robbie Anderson's currently sitting at 82 yards, so I'm going to try to force it into him so we can get that half star for 100 yards receiving for one player. Turns into a strategy, and he gets picked! No, come on! Fuck. I mean, I guess the Bengals know what we're doing. We're trying to force feed Robbie Anderson. We're trying to play for stars here and not for the win. God, I mean, Burfict is one of the better zone cover linebackers in this game. Got shit off for speed. That's why he wasn't able to make much more out of that. But got read like a book from one of the dumbest players in the NFL. Guy got like a -6 on the Wonderlic. Oh, fuck off. Tyler Eifert. That's tough. That's always going to be a tough matchup, man. Pretty much one of the most lethal red zone threats in Madden. But fuck. All because we tried to force feed that pass into Robbie Anderson. Look at this shit. 31 just broke off his man, it looks like. Wrong coverage. Trash. On 3rd and 13. Oh my god. The fuck's sakes, man. I never thought the low wares come back and bite me in the ass, but we had him for a surefire side. Who was the blitzer? Who else needs to be held accountable for that shit? Look at this. Free run. 25? How dumb? 25 had a free shot at the quarterback. At least to interrupt the throw. Oh my god. We can't expect Sidney Jones to be on A.J. Green that long. 25? I think that's Pryor. What an idiot. Fuck off. Come on. Mark Barrett coming in free again. You're not going to let us get that fumble. Slow scoring game. 7-7 ball game going in the 4th. There we go, Spence! 2nd sack of the game. I think we might have 2 sacks with Mark Barron, too. So that is 1 full star off of double-digit sacks for both players. Look at this shit. Oh, Eddie Dalton. That's a bad idea, trying to leave Jeremy Hill in there to block Noah Spence. Get good, son. Get good. Look at this. Let's watch this. Look at HD. Look at that right in his face. He is going to have nightmares about Noah Spence for the next month. John Ross. Man on man. Pac-Man Jones. One of the slowest corners. I'm taking that one all day long. Boom. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to, just know your matchups. 99 speed, 99 acceleration, Mr. 422 going up against Adam Pac-Man. Catch me up in the strip club. I got 28 speed Jones. Look at that every day. On a dime, too. Credit to Tom Savage. What a ball. Oh, Max Williams. Oh, okay. So also remember, we can get plus 14 win if we get another touchdown here. That's a 1 whole star to add. I think that's what we're going to do. So let's just maintain some balance here for the final 50 seconds as we reign in our glory. And hopefully we don't butcher this with a turnover of any means. But a field goal does us no good. We are playing for all the marbles. We're trying to keep it consistent. Carlos Williams, I mean, we've only used him 10 times, 45 yards. He's done his job. He's had a couple serviceable plays. Kind of butchered a C4 special earlier. But, I mean, I can't really hold him to that. So let's see if we can get actually 1.5 star towards our performance by getting a second touchdown for either John Ross and Robbie Anderson, as well as going up by 14. Come on. Robbie Anderson right there. Boom! Let's go. God is great. I don't really, I'm not religious at all, but God is great. We know, you know what I'm trying to say here, people. Though I walk through a shadow of the valley of death, I shall fear no evil, because we just got 21 points against them. Goddamn. Whatever the fuck these Bengals are. Tigers. These Tigers over here. Oh! Marcus May with the last second Hail Mary pick to get another star. Come on. Running up the score here. We will have to take a final tally in just 1 second. But the Jets have beat the Bengals 21-7 fairly thoroughly. So now it is time. It is that point in time to do a review of the stars in the final box score and see what type of player we could be stealing away from. Not even stealing. That's an improper term. We went for pinks, baby. They put up any player on their team within the star requirement. So we're just going to be collecting our due. Debo time. Pocket check. Let's go. All right, here we are now in the box score trying to tally up what our performance grade is going to be. And for a debut episode, fellas, it was a good one. So we're going to start. We won the game, which is 2 stars right off the bat. We won the game by 14 plus points with a pretty much cheesy garbage time touchdown. That's another star to bring us to 3 total stars. Now it's time to break into the box score, starting with Tom Savage, Mr. Savage Life himself. Didn't get the yards indicator, but got the 3 passing touchdowns, which is good for a half star, giving us 3.5 stars. Looking at the receiving stat, because obviously we didn't run the ball well with Carlos Williams, we got the 100 yards for Robbie Anderson, which gives us a 4 stars. We got the 2 receiving touchdowns, which gives us 4.5 stars. That's pretty damn good. You think, we're not done yet. 4.5. Can we get the 5 stars? Oh, yes, we can. Double-digit sacks for Noah Spence and Mark Barron. Half a star each. I mean, we're already at 5. Time to stop counting. We're just running up the score here. And Marcus May got that garbage time Hail Mary interception. I think we're at, 6 points right now? 6 total stars. 6-star performance. Already Dave Meltzer. But let's fucking go. So that means we could take a player with up to a +10 on anyone we have on our roster from the Cincinnati Bengals. So now it's time to reap the rewards. We're going to go take a look at the roster, and then after we look through who we could potentially get, it is going to be the end, and you guys vote. So what we're planning on doing is going to be, we're going to upload this video. We're going to wait about 28 to 48 hours. It'll be a day or 2 between uploads, but this is going to be a very consistent series. So let's stop with the blabbering. Let's look at the roster and reap our rewards. Alright, so here we are now with the Cincinnati Bengals. You're going to be nice. And we can now decide what player we're going to swipe for them from their pink slips. So I've broken down the players that would be considered upgrades, and it's up to you guys. The most popular name replied in the comment section will be the player we get from pink slips. So because you have to give a player to get a player, we will just take whatever position we try to upgrade, just the lowest guy on our roster. So we're going to start right away at the running back spot, where, we could get Joe Mixon for depth if you really want to see Joe Mixon, but in terms of name value, Giovanni Bernard would be one of the top guys. And as you guys can maybe remember from the Carson Wentz the 17-yard progression video we did, Bernard was like one of the top running backs in the sim, so it'd be nice to have, even though we're not necessarily using the sim. At the wide receiver spot, we can look at Brandon LaFell, 83 overall. He's getting up there in age a little bit, but would be a nice addition to add to a wide receiver core. We then have pretty much everyone on the offensive line. We can look at Andre Smith at the left tackle position, very, very strong with his 95 strength. We can look at the left guard spot, Clinton Bowling, who's an 81 overall. I think that'd be a decent pick. At center spot, we have Russell Bodine, 80 overall. Again, another guy I would not be overly upset if you guys decided we could get. At 1 point off was Carlos Dunlap. Now I know Noah Spence was an absolute beast with my Gator bias. This would have been the dream, but Spence is a 76. We only got 10 points, 1 point off. It feels bad, man. But staying on the defensive side of the ball, left outside linebacker, we could look at upgrading with Vincent Ray at the left outside linebacker spot over Kyle Emmanuel. We have both middle linebackers are potential options. Kevin Minter, their new free agency signing from the Arizona Cardinals. We also have Darren Lee, who we had to ship off our base roster because he was over that 75 threshold. We could bring him back to a Jets uniform. And then jump into the secondary. We're not getting Adam Jones, especially after he got absolutely torched by John Ross. But Dre Kirkpatrick could present decent value to us in the secondary. And then we also have the other option is the strong safety, Sean Williams. Looking at our defense from me playing Calvin Pryor, the safety was probably the biggest liability on the defensive side of the ball, and Sean Williams would definitely present a big-time upgrade. So those are the names, guys. Let me know in the comment section below who you want to see me upgrade. And that's it. This is the debut episode of Pink Slips. I hope you guys did enjoy trying something new here. Hopefully it catches on and it could be another great series. Not only to finish up the Madden 17 season, but we could continue something like this in Madden 18. It's not just going to be offline. There is room to expand into collabs and, all that good shit. Ultimate Team. Ew, we're not going to talk about Ultimate Team, but there's plenty of options here for Pink Slips. Like I said, if you guys enjoyed this video and your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, share the video around, let everyone know what's popping off here at Beast Mode TV, and until next time, it's C4 saying peace